Hello, thank you for joining me on 8. I am Maggie. We are doing the momentum challenge with heart and mind aligned. And what we are doing is we are working through Florence Shinn's complete works. And we are in the game. And so we're wanting to knock it on home to you and me, her principles. So we're going to welcome in the angels. Ooh, okay. No. Okay. We've got some beautiful honey optical calcite. If you are looking for crystals that are beautiful and charged, please hit up Tina Michelle Briggs at ATX Crystals. She's got some really beautiful things. Okay, so where we left off was that you are divine design. So in it is the perfect pattern spoken of by Plato, the divine design. For there is a divine design for each person. So that would be you and that would be me. So there is a place that you are to fill and no one else can fill. Something you are to do which no one else can do. And I hope we're kind of moving past that bump in the road, because it's exactly that. It is a bump in the road. You drive over it or you walk over it and you're on to more road. Okay, because we need to establish that you have a divine design and you need to get with it. So there is a perfect picture of this in the superconscious mind. Okay, so your divine design is a perfect picture in your superconscious mind. Okay, my dog, you can hear him drinking water. Sorry. He's the cutest though. It usually flashes across the conscious as an unattainable ideal, something too good to be true. So do you have something like that going on where you might be questioning your divine design? Let's stop doing that. So there, in reality, it is man's true destiny or destination flashed to him from the infinite intelligence which is within himself. Many people, however, are in ignorance of their true destinies and striving for things and situations which do not belong to them and would only bring failure and dissatisfaction if attained. So when you actually think about it, most of what we get thrown at us from social media, in commercials, in a lot of movies, and from left and right field, we're taught this is how your life should look, this is what you should be doing, blah blah blah. And you start to realize, wow, this is being thrown at me from all directions, but it might not actually be fitting my divine design. Maybe my divine design is creating a YouTube channel and creating retreats and conferences and events and things, but the real world says, go work in this job that's drains your soul. So we want to look with our divine design, and we want to realize that the infinite intelligence which is within us knows. Now, of course, there's rubber meets the road. You can't you can just leap over, but sometimes you got to ruck through some tough terrain to get to the next point. And we have to be willing to switch timelines on a dime. It could just miracles, which are, everyday things in heaven. Or we might have to spend some time working and learning ourselves and overcoming obstacles like Mario and Super Mario to get to the end. And we have to be like Mario. It's well, I'm not saying be mad, but one thing about Mario is he never ever gives up. Like if you watch that Super Mario movie, you watch a lot of movies, right? There's a hero's journey. But in that movie, Mario was known that no matter what went on, he never gave up. And then in the movie, also his brother Luigi, he had to learn how to face his, fears. So whatever it is that you are facing in your version of Super Mario, remember that the infinite intelligence has plans for you. So many people, however, are in ignorance of their true destinies and are striving for things in situations which do not belong to them. So think about commercials, think about what they're feeding us, that we feel like we're failures if we don't do, and would only bring failure and dissatisfaction is attained. So it might make your credit card debt high, it might have you buying things that you ultimately bring you no pleasure, etc. So for example, a woman came to me and asked me to speak the word that she would marry a certain man with whom she was very much in love with. She'll call him A.B. I replied that this would be a violation of spiritual law, but that I would speak the word for the right man, the divine selection, the man who belonged to her by divine right. So that's so beautiful. Think about it. Whoever is in this lane to find their right man or right woman or whatever, let's speak the word that you find the right man or the right woman, the divine selection, the person who belongs to you by divine right. I added, if AB is the right man, you can't lose him. And if he isn't, you will receive his equivalent. She saw AB frequently, but no headway was made in her friendship. So hold the vision, right? One evening she called and said, do you know for the last week, AB hasn't seemed so wonderful to me? I replied, maybe he's not the divine selection. Another man might be the right one. So soon after that, she met another man who fell in love with her at once and who said she was his ideal. In fact, she said all the things that she had always wished AB would say to her. She remarked it was quite uncanny. She soon returned his love and lost all interest in AB. She soon returned his love and lost all interest in AB. This shows the law of substitution. So it's so funny how these guys and gals pack so much punch in their teachings. But this is the law of substitution. The right idea was substituted for the wrong one. Therefore, there was no loss or sacrifice involved. And a lot of times we do think we have lost something, or we do think, oh, I'm sacrificing something. But if you would just trust divine design and the infinite intelligence and the law of substitution, these laws that God puts in place that just operate, we know that this and something better is coming. So Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And he said the kingdom was within man. So where is the kingdom? In us. The kingdom is the realm of right ideas or divine pattern. Jesus taught the man's words played a leading part in the game of life. Interesting, right? Our words play the leading part in the game of life. So by your words ye are justified, and by your words ye are condemned. So do you want to be justified? Speak justification. If you want to be condemned, speak condemnation. We're going to watch our words. So many people have brought disaster into their lives through idle words. And I understand when you're going through challenges, you're breaking into things are happening. It's very easy to spiral down into negative self-talk. Honestly, we all do it. But as we get better at it, we tend to stay in the positive self-talk more than the negative self-talk. I was watching a beautiful interview with Mary J. Blige, where she was asked by the interviewer, some relationships were not healthy and this and that, what changed? And she heard TJ Lake's say that, our self-talk, what were you saying to yourself? So Mary J. Blige, T.D. Lakes, I'm sorry, she said, I am beautiful, I am loving, she just started speaking. And if you watch Mary J. Blige's career, I was lucky enough to be young when her music was just taking over the world. She literally spoke into so many of our lives, many of us who were going through difficulties with life, difficulties with partners and whatever. And as you watched her shift, it just affected so many lives in so many positive ways. And she's still to this day singing great music and speaking the spoken word of positivity and helping people overcome things. So anyway, speak positive things about yourself because you are amazing. So for example, a woman once asked me why her life was now one of poverty and limitation. Formerly, she had a home and was surrounded by beautiful things and had plenty of money. We found that she often tired of the management of her home and had said repeatedly, I'm sick and tired of things. I wish I'd lived in a trunk. And she added, today I'm living in that trunk. She had spoken herself. It's hard to even say these things because our spoken word is, but I know the universe is hearing my heart and taking those. So she had spoken herself into the trunk. The subconscious mind has no sense of humor, and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. So let's not be that. For example, a woman had a great deal of money and joked continuously about getting ready for the poorhouse. In a few years, she was almost destitute, having impressed the subconscious mind with a picture of lack and limitation. So what are you impressing your subconscious mind? And I just want to ask you, put it in the comments. But I'm just saying, let's hang out and impress our subconscious mind with great things. If you are listening to Brian Scott's work every day, it is, no matter what is the lesson, the grand finale always encourages impressing our subconscious mind with positive things. So let's get it if we're not getting it. So fortunately, the law works both ways, and a situation of lack may be changed into one of plenty. So if you're in lack, let's start getting that positive self-image about prosperity. So for example, a woman came to me one hot summer day for treatment for prosperity. She was worn out, dejected, and discouraged. Drum roll. Brrr. She said she possessed just $8 in the world, and I said, good. We'll bless that $8 and multiply them as Jesus Christ multiplied the loaves and fishes. For he taught that every man had the power to bless and to multiply and to heal and to prosper. So did you get that? We have the power to multiply and bless and heal and prosper. So we are going to do that. So she said, what shall I do next? And I replied, follow intuition. Have you a hunch to do anything or to go anywhere? Any of you got hunches? Put it in the comments. I'd love to know. Where are you heading? Intuition means intuition or to be taught from within. And every text tells us, the Bible, when you meditate, when you pray, you read the Quran, you read Buddhist, it's in us. You don't actually need to go anywhere. But we've taught ourselves that we got to go outside. But really, it's all within. But nobody's upset. If you're seeking, and you are guaranteed to have the assistance come. So intuition means intuition or to be taught from within. It is a man's unerring guide, and I will deal more fully with its laws in the following chapter. The woman replied, I don't know. I seem to have a hunch to go home. I've just enough money for car fare. Her home was in a distant city, and was one of lack and limitation. And the reasoning mind or intellect, so how many times do you come up against that when God is telling you to do something? The reasoning mind or intellect would have said, stay in New York and get work and make some money. I replied, then go home, never violate a hunch. I spoke the following words for her. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance for you. She is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to her by divine right. So we are going to speak this, and this is why we are going through this slow roll. Here we go. If you can so receive it, do. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance for everyone listening and more. They are irresistible magnets for all that belongs to them by divine right. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance for everyone listening. They are irresistible magnets for all that belongs to them by divine right. I'm going to do it one more time. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance for all of us listening. We are irresistible magnets for all that belongs to us by divine right. Woo! I told her to repeat it continually also. She left for home immediately. In calling on a woman one day, she linked up with an old friend of her family. Hunch. Through this friend, she received thousands of dollars in the most miraculous way. And she has said to me often, tell people about the woman who came to you with $8 and a hunch. So who am I? Well, I'm Maggie, but I am Maggie. So tell her about the woman who came to her with $8 and a hunch. That could be me. And it's definitely all of us. So we're about to be blessed. So that's exciting. I don't know, I feel it. So there is always plenty on man's pathway, but it can only be brought into manifestation through desire, faith, and the spoken word. Jesus Christ brought out clearly that man must make the first move. Reverend Ike teaches that as well too. He would teach like pray in a way, like there's a scripture that says, command you me. So Reverend Ike would pray and he would he would say like, infinite Spirit, open the way for abundance for all of us. And then he'd say, go God, go. He would just, right? And so we have that confidence that it will be done, right? So the man must make the first move. Now ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 7:7. So that's such a beautiful scripture. Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be open unto you. I know Abraham Hicks has a book, and I read that back in the day, and it's really wonderful. In the scriptures we read concerning the words of my hands, command ye me. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it's in her book too. It's in Reverend Ike's work as well. Command the works of my hands, command ye me. Infinite intelligence. God is ever ready to carry out man's smallest or greatest demands. Every desire uttered or unexpressed is a demand. Yeah, so as a man thinketh, he becomes. So your thoughts are prayers. Your thoughts are demands. We are often, that's why we got to watch our minds, right? We're not the mind police, but yet we are. So don't be discouraged. Just continue to practice and thank your mind because it's wonderful. It's trying to help us. So we are often startled by having a wish suddenly fulfilled. For example, one Easter, having seen many beautiful rose trees in the florist windows, I wished I would receive one. And for an instant, saw it mentally being carried in the door. Sounds like Neville Goddard, right? You could drop it like it was hot in less than 3 minutes, really. Easter came, and with it a beautiful rose tree. I thanked my friend the following day and told her it was just what I wanted. She replied, I didn't send you a rose tree, I sent you lilies. The man had mixed up the order, divine design, and sent me a rose tree simply because I had started the law in action, and I had to have a rose tree. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart but fear and doubt. So if you are imagining we're going through the blocks, doubt, fear, we're going to just keep moving through them. So when man can wish without worrying, every desire is instantly fulfilled. Okay, just start testing it out, because you will see if you do these things, you will begin watching yourself align with that gold coin, that gold vein. So when a man can wish without worrying, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. Just test it out. Pick something and start small. Like Joseph Ally likes to start with a cup of coffee. I will explain more fully in the following chapters the scientific reason for this and how fear must be erased from the consciousness. And the world, so much out there is just trying to drive us all by fear into whatever pockets. So let's do this. Overcome it. It is man's only enemy. Fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of sickness, fear of loss, and a fear of insecurity on some plane. Jesus Christ said, "Why are ye fearful, ye of little faith?" Matthew 8:26. So we can see we must substitute faith for fear. For fear is only inverted faith, right? Fear is only inverted faith. So, and it is faith in evil instead of good. So let's get on good. The other thing is Napoleon Hill. I need to look this up, but we're going to get through this material and it'll come through later. Napoleon Hill also set these up as the fears as what kept people from becoming prosperous and making their millions. So the object of the game of life is to see clearly one's good and to obliterate all mental pictures of evil. Okay, note to self. The game of life is to see clearly one's good and to obliterate all the mental pictures of evil. This is in Neville Goddard's work. This is Reverend Ike's work. This is in the Bible. This is in the Quran. This is in the Emerald Tablets. This is in Joseph Murphy. This is right. So it's sometimes if you got all this other crap going on, you're going to have to work on reality transurfing with Rene Garcia. It's in there. So hello, we want to see clearly our good, and we want to cancel out the evil. This must be done by impressing the subconscious mind with the realism of good. A very brilliant man who had attained great success told me he had suddenly erased all fear from his consciousness by reading a sign which hung in a room. He saw printed in large letters the statement, "Why worry? It will probably never happen." So why worry? It'll probably never happen. And actually, there's a lot to back that up. A lot of what we worry about, oftentimes a very small percentage comes through. So also too, we also know where we are putting our thought forms is what we're going to magnetize to us. So let's work with that. Why worry? It probably will never happen. These words are stamped indelibly on his subconscious mind, and he has now a firm conviction that only good can come into his life. Therefore, only good can manifest. And see, the thing is, when you have this kind of mindset too, even if something comes in that, quote, is bad, you're going to hold on for the good outcome related to this so-called bad stuff. Because like maybe, for instance, you were stalled at the post office in a long line, only to find out you avoided a massive car accident or whatever it is. You got to realize God's got your back. So in the following chapter, I will deal with the different methods of impressing the subconscious mind. And so let's all make our vision boards, okay? Like, you don't have to get crazy or whatever, but just start somewhere. Let's start with cups of coffee or whatever like that, but let's keep moving on to bigger things. And what we're in this momentum challenge. So 4th of July is our Independence Day, but we're going to keep going on with this momentum challenge. So let's start making vision boards and looking at what we're impressing our subconscious mind on. This is going to be fun. See it as fun. It is man's faithful servant, right, our mind, but one must be careful to give it the right orders. Man has ever a silent listener at his side, the subconscious mind. It's always there. Every thought, every word is impressed upon it and carried out in amazing detail. It is like a singer making a record on the sensitive disc of the phonographic plate. Every note and tone of the singer's voice is registered. If he coughs or hesitates, it's registered also. So let us break up the old bad records in the subconscious mind, the records of our lives which we do not wish to keep, c'est la vie, and make new beautiful ones. And that's what we're here to do in this momentum challenge. We're making new beautiful records. We're making new beautiful memories. So speak these words out loud with power and conviction. Okay, you ready? I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect record through the Christ within, the record of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. This is the square of life, the game completed. Ha-hoo! Okay, let's do that again. So we're going to say it out loud with power and conviction. I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they have come from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect record through the Christ within, the record of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. This is the square of life, the game completed. All right, we're going to do this again because we, want to get it in there. I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect record through the Christ within, the record of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. This is the square of life, the game completed. Woo. Woo. Okay, so in the following chapters, I will show how man can change his conditions by changing his words. Any man who does not know the power of the word is behind the times. And we are way past the time of her time. She was ahead of her time. Reverend Ike was ahead of her time. Neville Goddard was ahead of time. Joseph Murphy and so many. So let's heed the advice and let's just move to the next level. So death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. That's so good. All right, so I don't know. I'm going to pray about it and see. I might read this one more time because I want this to sink in. If we were being marinated for the feast, I want us to be the best marinated yummy yum in the world. So we're marinating in the spiritual juices of like greatness. We're coming up. Right? We're coming up. So I'd love to hear, your positive comments. When you do get a chance, please hit that like and subscribe. I'm very, very grateful for your support on my challenge. I just want to encourage you, keep it moving with the momentum challenge with heart and mind aligned and intensity. So thank you. And you know what's next? Peace in. Peace.